Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm joined by a special guest, my son.
Hi.
Hi Nathan. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going through our championship predictions for the 2017-2018 season. So let's start off. I'll go first. We're going to go from number 24 all the way up to the champions of the championship this year.
Yes. Okay. And also on my channel, which is TheShmoo888, go check it out, even though I haven't uploaded in like 6 months. We will be doing my Premier League predictions next week with this guy as well. So
this guy.
please go check it out next week. Okay,
so we'll start off with, in 24th place, I'm going to go for Bolton Wanderers. Now, they've come up from Division 1 last season, and they actually came up with a very good defence. I think it was the best defence in the division, and they conceded just 36 goals in their 46 games. They haven't really invested in playing staff as such. They brought in the likes of Will Buckley. Adam Lafondra has signed now. I think was on loan at Bolton last season as well. And Sammy Amiobi. I can't see that the likes of Lafondra are going to get the goals to keep them up in the division, though. He had that one good season, I think, for Reading, but I think that was in the Premier League. They're not. I can't see where they're going to get the goals from. I don't think they're going to get hammered every week. The games are going to be tight, but I can't see them surviving. The likes of Amiobi, he'll show flashes of brilliance, but he could be in and out of the side, maybe injured one week, back in next week, but I think they'll be in 24th. Who do you think will be in 24th?
Believe it or not, I actually think Bolton will finish bottom as well.
Have you gone for Bolton?
For exactly the same reasons, because I think they have an alright defence. I don't think it's quite championship material yet, but they just haven't made the signings at all. I don't think they're an established championship side. I think they're maybe mid-top League One, but no.
They got promoted, of course.
Well, my 23rd is Bristol City, believe it or not.
Bristol City?
I think what they've done with their grounds and their owners, what they've done is absolutely incredible with the City. They've tried to regenerate it and try and make them into a Premier League side. But after losing Tomlin and Tammy Abraham to a certain club, they just don't have the strength within their squad to stay in the Championship, I don't think.
Okay, fair enough. In 23rd position, I'm going to go for Burton Albion. Now, they've got a tough start to the season. They're entertaining Cardiff at home, then they're away against Hull and Middlesbrough respectively, and then they're at home for the next 2 fixtures after that against Birmingham and Sheffield Wednesday. So all tough teams they've got to face in those first 5 fixtures. They haven't actually. I'm not sure what they've actually bought in transfer wise. I think they brought in Liam Boyce from Ross County, the likes of Jake Buxton from Wigan Athletic as well. They've got Akpan from Blackburn Rovers as well. So I'm not sure they're going to have the strength to survive this year, even though they did well in their first season in the Championship last year. I know they got the likes of Ben Turner at the back, but I think he's suspended for that first match. And goals wise, I think they're missing a couple of players in those first few weeks. So fortunately, Burton, I can see going down this season. Okay, on to the 22nd team. It'll be Millwall. Millwall did come up as well last season. I think at home they could be strong, but I just don't think they've got enough this season to survive in the Championship. The first 3 matches, they're away at Nottingham Forest. They're at home to Bolton, and they're at home again then to Ipswich, which I can actually see them picking up points in those first 3 fixtures. And that might give them a bit of confidence, but I think overall for the whole of the season, I think they're going to ultimately get relegated. Sorry, Millwall.
In my 22nd, I've got Ian Holloway's QPR. Now, ever since they've been relegated from the Premier League a couple of seasons back, they have just been falling. Like, they've lost loads of their players. They've got an aging squad. I don't think they'll be able to survive this time around.
So you don't think Holloway will keep them up?
No, I reckon he'll be sacked around Christmas.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Because I just don't think he'll be able to. So, I think it will be tough. They might, like in my 21st, I've got Burton, but I think Burton will just literally survive by the skin of their teeth.
Okay. Well, I'll go for my. Well, yeah, if you just say Burton then on your 21st.
Yeah, I picked Burton exactly for the same reasons. Got a tough start to the season, but I can see them picking on points near the end. Like, they've got a really good striker.
So you think they'll just survive then?
Yeah, literally just survive.
Okay, well in my 21st position I've gone for Queen's Park Rangers. You think they'll get relegated?
Yes.
I think they'll survive just by the skin of their teeth. Could be the Ian Holloway factor, although as you said, I think last season they finished terribly. They have, I don't think they've really bought in players this season. I think Jamie Mackey has signed another contract. The likes of Stephen Colker.
Mind he's aging a bit, that's the thing.
Well,
he's getting a bit older.
I think, was he in his mid-20s? I'm not too sure, but he has
aging a bit.
He has his off-the-field problems, and I can't see him, well, will he be in the right state of mind? And I can't see them doing much this season. Maybe Holloway will get sacked and they'll bring somebody in, and that might rejuvenate them a little bit, but I think it's going to be a struggle all season for QPR.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I'm going to go for 20th position is Bristol City. They're going to again struggle this year. They have spent a bit of money in the transfer window. They've brought in the guy from Senegal, Famara Didiahoy, I think that's how you pronounce him, from Angers in France, and he's cost them £5.3 million. He did score 8 goals in 31 appearances, so it remains to be seen if he can replace the likes of Tammy Abraham, who went to Swansea. They have lost Lee Tomlin as well, but talking to some Bristol City fans, Tomlin can blow hot and cold. Some weeks he can be a world beater and set the championship alight. Another weeks he's non-existent. I know he's gone to Cardiff, so we'll see how he gets on there. But Bristol City, they're going to have another year of struggling, I think. Your 20th team then, Nathan?
I've gone for actually Millwall, who you think will go down. I think they do have a few games that they can pick up points. It's just I think they might struggle against some teams, and I reckon it'll be literally Millwall Burton QPR for the last relegation spot on the last day. Okay. Because I think Millwall have got a champion capable of championship squad. It's just I think they need to develop it further with a few signings. I just don't think they're ready just yet, but I reckon they will survive.
Okay. And 19th?
My 19th is actually the absolutely atrocious Nottingham Forest from last season. They absolutely haven't brought in anyone. They've lost Britt Sombalonga, who's their best player. I just don't think they'll be able to survive.
Yeah, I've actually gone in 19th position myself. I've gone for Darryl Murphy. But again, I think they'll struggle. Yeah. Maybe they'll, their home form might help out. They have lost to Sombalonga, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a detriment to them. I think he was injured quite a bit last season. I'm not sure. Forest fans, you might be able to help me out there. But another season of struggle. They've been kind of flittering with relegation for last season or two as well. So. Okay, in 18th position I've gone for Ipswich Town, managed of course by Mick McCarthy, a bit of a stalwart in the division now, you could say. They've signed a couple of players more than a couple of players, but in the centre midfield they've gone for Adeyemi and Emir Hughes. I don't think that's going to be strong enough to do much in the Championship for the 2017-2018 season. They're kind of going to blow hot and cold, and the likes of Emir Hughes, whether he can sustain any sort of form over the 46 games in the Championship remains to be seen. On his day he can be a good player, but you can't go missing from games. Apparently Adeyemi had a very good season last season, but squad-wise I can't see them really doing anything. It'll be a tough place to go for visitors at Portman Road, but in the long haul I think they're going to end the season being a bit of a struggle for them. Your 18th?
My 18th is actually newly promoted Sheffield United. Now they absolutely walked League One last year, and I think they do have a potential championship team. It's just I don't think they'll finish quite high this season. I think
they're going to be higher than they did last season,
of course.
In a different division, of course.
Yeah, but I think they've got a capable squad. Okay. It's just I don't think they're ready to make that push into the playoffs or the automatics or even the top half of the table yet.
I think consolidation for them then.
Yeah, I think it might take 2 or 3 seasons just for them to get up there. I don't think they're going to be a Bournemouth where they get double promoted, but I think they are an established mid-table championship side. My 17th is actually Harry Redknapp's Birmingham City.
Redknapp, yeah.
They had an absolutely atrocious season last year. it all started off really well with Gary Rowett managing them, but for some reason I don't even know why they sacked him. Then they brought in Gianfranco Zola, who absolutely ruined the team. They almost got relegated last year, but obviously Harry Redknapp came in and saved them. Now they have made a few signings. It's just I don't think they spent enough or brought in the good enough quality players. So I reckon they just will finish 17th, and they need a couple of seasons to get back up in mid-table or even push for the Premier League. Yeah, for the Premier League.
Okay, in 17th position for me, I'm going for Barnsley. 16 players have actually left in the closed season, and 8 have come in. The likes of they brought in Stevie Mallan from St Mirren for £200,000, and Jason McCarthy from Southampton £200,000. The problem with Barnsley last season, they actually finished the season really badly. I think they only had the 1 victory in the last 14 matches, and if that carries on to this season, they could struggle big time. However, I think they will turn it around and finish around about the 17th mark, or 17th that I'm predicting. Sorry Barnsley, but I don't think you're going to do much this year. I'll do my 16th position this year. I'm going to go for Preston. I think this is going to be their 3rd season in the Championship. They're kind of establishing themselves in the Championship now. They've actually brought in Declan Rudd from Norwich for £966,000, just under £1 million. They finished 11th last year, but I think they're going to go downhill slightly this year. I think they got rid of their manager, didn't they, this year as well? And
yes.
A different manager in. I think they're going to finish in 16th position. And I think they also finished the season with a bad run at the tail end of last season too. And your 16th?
My 16th is actually Ipswich, who have obviously been in the Championship for like 9 years or something absolutely ridiculous. Mick McCarthy just hasn't made good enough signings. They've established themselves as a mid-table Championship side. They just can't seem to get any higher or lower. They've got rid of Tom Lawrence. They've got Emir Hughes, but I just don't think they've established themselves.
Well, I think isn't Tom Lawrence? He was on loan, so
yeah, he's on loan.
And they didn't buy him.
Yeah,
either. So.
But Portman Road is an absolute fortress. I just don't think they'll be able to do anything.
What, on the road
just on the road or even Portman Road. Okay, my number 15th is Preston. Like you said earlier, they've established themselves as a Championship side. It's just going into the end of last season, a couple of their players did have a bust up with each other. Just like one on the pitch and then 2 on. Yeah. There's quite a few background problems. It's just. I reckon
they've got a new manager as well.
They do have a new manager. It's just I think they've established themselves as a mid-table side. I reckon they'll stay there this season, so that's why I picked Preston as 15th.
Okay, for my 15th team, I'm going to go for Hull City. I think they've got rid of quite a few. Yeah, well, you beg to differ, don't you, on this one? But I think they have brought in Fraser Campbell, and he will score goals. Fraser Campbell will always score goals, but they've actually got rid of 12 players, and I don't think they've actually replaced the players that they've gone, that have gone out, the likes of Curtis Davis. Tom Huddleston's going to be a big blow for them, and El Mohammadi, who's gone to Aston Villa, I believe. So I think they're going to finish around about 15th. When they do come down, or when they have been in the Championship before, they have been sort of pushing for their playoffs or actually going up to the Premier League. But I think they're going to struggle. There's no chance of them going down, but I think they will struggle this season. I'll do my 14th.
Okay.
Yeah, 14th. I think Sheffield United to come up from the division. You don't think they're going to? No?
Too early.
Too early. Well, I think they're going to have a good season myself. I think they'll finish in 14th. They actually stormed the division, first division last year. I think they scored over 100 points. Or was it 100 goals?
It was 100 on the dot, actually.
100 points, or was it 100 goals?
100 points on the dot.
Okay. They've got a good set of supporters there, a good following, and I think they're going to be well backed at home. Difficult place to go. The momentum is going to carry over from last year. They've brought in a few players, such like Ched Evans up front. They've got Richard Sturman, they brought in for just under £1 million, and George Badlock as well. I think 4 players have gone out as well, but I think they're going to, they'll hold their own in this division and then maybe kick on next season. Do you want to go on your 13th then?
My 14th is actually Barnsley. They have got rid of absolutely loads of players. It's just, I think they do have good enough quality to stay up in mid-table or the top end of mid-table, because they got promoted last season. They had a great season last year with half of their players, and I just reckon they'll be able to maintain that. So Barnsley 14th. Okay, my number 13 is Reading. Now they have, obviously, they have got rid of Al Habsi, which is a huge blow for them because they were a great keeper. But they do have some great players like Swift and Morgan, but they do tend to have reverse seasons. So one season they have a great season like last season, and the season before they have an atrocious one. So I think this year will be another atrocious one for them, and I think they'll just finish 13th because they haven't really signed anyone or made a decent replacement for Al Habsi.
Okay, my 13th position, I'm going to go for Birmingham. Okay, managed by Harry Redknapp. They have brought in Craig Gardner from West Brom, which is a very shrewd signing, and they got David Stockdale in goals as well. Out goes speedster Karen Frey, I think he is. And he's gone out to Turkey to play, which I don't think he was in the team maybe a lot last year anyway. I think they finished 19th last year. They're going to finish, well, I predict 13th this year, but remains to be seen. I don't think they're going to pull up that many trees, but Redknapp should steady the ship there. Okay, my 12th team, a little bit of surprise to some, but not to myself, is Sunderland. They're of course relegated last year. They've got the likes of John O'Shea at the back, but out have gone the likes of Les Scott. They've also got Adam Matthews, I believe, in the defence. They brought in Aidan McGeady and James Vaughan, and I can't see James Vaughan doing anything. I think he's come in from Bury, but apart from that, I can't see Sunderland doing anything. I think they're going to struggle this year, and they're going to finish mid-table overall. Of course, they've lost the likes of Jermaine Defoe, Barini, Will Buckley has gone as well, and Jordan Pickford, who's gone to he's gone to Everton, of course, for 30 million, close on 30 million. So that's my 12th position is Sunderland.
I've actually gone for Sunderland as well for exactly the same reasons.
Really
they had an absolutely atrocious season last year, obviously, and the day before
finished bottom, didn't they?
Rock bottom. They've sold loads of their players. They've made signings of a League One quality, or they've made signings that make them act like a League One team. I just don't think they'll do well this season. However, they do have some qualities. It's just no.
Okay,
no.
Your 11th then?
My number 11th is the equivalent to Man City in the Championship at the moment, Wolves. They have signed absolutely everyone, have been splashing the cash everywhere. I reckon they'll be given financial fair play in a few years, actually. So, like we were last 2 seasons ago. They have made some decent signings. It's just I don't think they're ready to go into the playoffs just yet. So I reckon Wolves 11th.
I've actually gone for Wolves in 11th spot as well. I haven't been copying you. I hope you haven't been copying me.
I think you have.
Yeah, okay.
I did mine 2 days ago.
Wolves actually finished 15th last year. They brought in Ruben Neves from Porto for an astonishing 15.8 million from Championship player. That's just unheard of. Unless you're a Sombalonga, of course.
Yes.
Wolves, okay, they splashed the cash, but the likes of this Ruben Neves, is he actually going to pull up any trees this season? Will he have time to adjust to the Championship? Because it's a very, very tough league, the Championship is. Physical, it's games one and after, they're playing twice a week most of the season. Is he going to be able to cope with that? I think he may have actually played in the Championship before, I think. But Wolves just above mid-table at 11th. Your 10th?
My 10th is actually Hull. Unfortunately for them, Marco Silva did resign and go to Watford, obviously, for his one and only season there. They have got rid of loads of their players, unfortunately, like Huddleston, and I just don't think they've made good enough signings. Like, half the time, their scouts are absolutely stupid, like going after Kenneth Zohore, asking for a couple of million for him, when one, he's just signed a new deal, and 2, Cardiff were asking for 20-40 million for him.
I think it was between 15 and 20 million.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
In the Championship, and he was only what was he scoring? It was his last, the last part of the
last
season.
End of the season.
I wouldn't probably gamble on that either.
They haven't really approached anyone. Well, the year they got promoted, they had an even stronger team than this year, 2 seasons ago. It's just when they got promoted through that playoffs match, it was an absolute fluke that they did. Sheffield Wednesday should have won that because Carlos should have made his dream come true. But I just reckon Hull 10th.
Okay, my 10th, I've actually gone for Brentford. Now with Brentford, I think they've got a large enough squad, and if they do suffer from injuries, I think they've got adequate replacements to come in. They've established themselves now as a good, decent championship team. I think they finished 10th last season as well. I think they've only signed one player. I think they've had one player in, maybe a loan signing as well, and just the one out as well. But I can see Brentford finishing in 10th again. In 9th position, I've gone for Leeds United. Now, Leeds had a really good season last year. They've got to keep hold of Chris Wood, though. Phenomenal score, his goal machine last year. They can keep hold of him, then they're going to finish around about 9th again. Maybe they'll just miss off the playoffs this year. They have brought in some good signings. Whether they're going to make themselves, establish themselves in the team this year, they've made signings such as Pontus Jansson, who came in from Torino for 3.6 million. Samuel Sayers, I think from SD Husha for 3.1 million, and Ezguan Aluski for 3.2 million, who's a right winger. Around about 9th, just missing out of the playoffs. Your 9th?
My 9th is actually Brentford, believe it or not. I think they have a really strong team and they have really good squad depth as well. I'd say one of the best in the Championship. So if they do get obviously hit by an injury crisis like certain teams have, then I reckon they'll be able to survive. They have established themselves as a Championship club. They've been building themselves up from League One all the way up to the Championship. And I reckon in a couple of years when they get this new stadium in Kew Bridge, that they're going to they could be a Premier League club.
I think they'll have to strengthen it. Yeah, they'll probably have to strengthen themselves. How many years have they got left in their current home?
Well,
is this the last season, or they got a couple?
They've got 2 more seasons because the rule is on terraces now that you only allowed 3 seasons if you're in the Championship of them. So. I think it's like 2019 they're moving.
So that means the likes of Burton, will they have to get rid of their terrace?
Yes, any Championship club with a terrace.
Okay, interesting.
Which means Burton's capacity is going to go down to like 2,000.
Unless they put in seats, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 8 is actually Norwich. I think they have a really strong squad with players such as Ivo Pinto, Cameron Jerome, Nelson Oliveira, but they have lost some quality players such as Carl Lafferty and John Ruddy. It's just... I don't think they're quite ready for the playoffs yet after being relegated 2 seasons ago. Like Norwich, where are you? You're out of the relegation. No. Norwich, where are you? You're out of the playoffs.
In my 8th position, I've gone for Derby County. They finished 9th last year, so they'll make a slight improvement on that. They have lost the likes of Will Hughes and Tom Ince, of course. Hughes went to Watford and Ince to Huddersfield, so both stepping up to the Premier League. In comes the likes of Tom Huddleston, who's a really good signing for Derby, but I think they're going to just miss out on the playoffs again this year. 7th?
Sure.
7th, okay, I'll go for 7th. 7th, I've a bit of surprise because everybody seems to be tipping Aston Villa to make the top 2, but I think they're going to just miss out on the playoffs. They have got some excellent players, no doubt about it, but I just don't think they're going to perform. They finished way down in 13th. They are going to improve massively, really, on last season. And I think they're going to finish 7th. They got the likes of John Terry in defence, Mick Richards, James Chester, who I really like James Chester in defence. They got Al Mohammadi as well, and Christopher Samba, who's a bit of a stalwart in the Championship, I think, and he's also been out in Russia as well, and well travelled. He's a beast of a player. Samba is. In midfield, they got the likes of Jednik, Adoma, who's pacey, Grealish, who, if he can cut his antics out, will be a fantastic player. But I believe he's injured for the start of the season, so they're going to miss him for his antics and his actual play. And up front, of course, they got Kodja, who can be a bit of a goal machine. However, if you look at their form last year, they only actually won 4 matches away from home. They're going to be stronger, but I don't think they're going to turn those losses or draws into wins, and I think they will just miss out on the playoffs. And sorry, Villa, everyone else is tipping you to go up, but I can't just see it myself.
Well, believe it or not, my number 7th is actually Gary Rowett's Derby. Even though they have sold some players such as Tom Ince to Huddersfield, I do think they still have a capable enough squad to staying in the top half of the Championship. Gary Rowett is a fantastic manager. He had a really good start at Birmingham City until he was sacked for absolutely no reason. Birmingham went through 3 managers last year, which was just insane. But yeah, I think they are strong enough to finish 7th personally. My number 6 is actually our team, Cardiff City.
Okay.
We have made quite a lot of great signings, believe it or not. Lee Tomlin, Lee Camp, Danny Ward, who's a great number 9. We have Kenneth Zahora, who was an absolute goal machine up till the end of last season. Absolutely scoring loads of goals. Great that Neil Warnock actually gave him a chance, which was good, instead of Frederick Gnobby, who was absolutely terrible.
Where has Gnobby gone? He's disappeared.
Yeah, we haven't been giving him a number this year because of how bad he is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened.
He tries his best.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
But I reckon we do have a good enough quality of being in the playoffs, literally just. I think we'll finish 6th.
Okay, in 6th position, I've actually gone for Cardiff as well. Now, it could be that my heart is ruling my head a little bit, but looking at the side that Cardiff have got, I think they're a match pretty much for everybody, for any team in the division when they're playing well. First 11, solid in defence with the likes of Bamba, Manga and Morrison, all established really Championship defenders. Manga especially has got an air of quality about him. Bamba, an absolute beast at the back. And they are liable to make mistakes from now and again. Up front, they've got the likes of Zohore, who ripped the division apart at the latter end of last season. Whether he can continue that remains to be seen a little, but he's done well in pre-season. Tomlin, who's come in from Bristol City, whether he can, he is an excellent player, and he's shown flashes in pre-season of pure quality. Whether he can sustain that throughout the season remains to be seen. Whether Warnock, the wily old manager, if he can pull that out of him for 35 games of the season, then Cardiff look to have a great 2017-18 season. Where Cardiff may struggle, I think, is in midfield. Okay, we've got the likes of Gunnarsson, there's Rolls and Locke Demure, who looks at the moment a little bit of a backup player at the moment. He scored a couple of goals, I think, in pre-season. However, if there's an injury or two in midfield, I think that's where Cardiff City could struggle, and that could see them move down to the likes of 10th or 11th position. But if Cardiff can make another signing, a real quality signing in midfield, then I think they will cement that sixth position. But I do feel that they'll have to get rid of maybe 1 or 2 players before that midfielder will come in. Perhaps if they're around about just outside the playoffs come January, then I'm hopeful that the club will invest in that midfielder, which I really think they need. Okay, I'll go 5th. I think in 5th position, Norwich will do well. Last season they scored a shed load of goals. I think they were joint top scorers with Newcastle, of course, which ended up as champions, and I think they missed out on the playoffs. I think they finished around about 8th last season, but I think they'll actually sneak into the playoffs and finish in 5th position. They've lost the likes of, as you said, I think when you were saying, yes, Carl Lafferty, Sebastian Basson's gone out, but they do still have the likes of Cameron Jerome, Wes Houlihan and Olivier up front as well. Your 5th?
My 5th is actually Aston Villa.
Okay.
They have made some really good signings such as John Terry. They have an amazing striker up front, Kodja, who is an absolute goal machine at times. It's just I don't think Steve Bruce can manage him up to the Premier League. I think
even though he has taken teams up.
Yes,
before,
even though he's like taken Holler and then resigned straight after. I just don't think he'll be able to do it with Villa. I just don't think they have the squad depth at the moment with the likes of James Chester. But
so you put them in 5th position. Do you think they'll get in? What about the playoffs? Do you think they'll reach?
They're good enough for the playoffs. I don't think they'll reach the playoff final.
Right. Okay.
So. Because I reckon it'll be Cardiff and the team above Aston Villa who will get into the playoff final.
Okay.
And my number 14, believe it or not, is actually Leeds United. Now, Gary Monk did resign, but they do have players such as the goal machine Chris Wood from last season. They have an excellent fan base. Their stadium is falling apart. They have fans from all over the country. But they are an established championship side, and they have been dipping in and out of League One a couple of years back. But I think they can make a jump to the Premier League at some point. It's just, I reckon they will get to the playoff final. As long as they keep hold of Chris Wood, then they will be fine. I just think that they should be in the Premier League because that's where they belong, really.
Okay.
Like some of these smaller teams such as Stoke, Bournemouth, that's where Leeds should be.
Okay.
Because I remember back the years ago when Leeds were in the top half of the Premier League.
I think Fulham will finish 4th. They'll kick on. Well, I think they finished 6th last season. Yeah. I think they'll improve yet again. They've got some really good players there. Tom Kearney, I think he was Player of the Year in the Championship last year, and he's also their captain. They've got that. I think is he left back or right back, Ryan Sessegnon. When we saw him play last season, he looked a very exciting prospect for the future. They're great to watch. A good club as well, being in the Premier League and back down, and they've sort of been hovering around the playoffs for the last couple of years. Well, they finished 6th last season, and I think they're going to improve again. Whether they make it to the Premiership, I'm not quite sure. Maybe they'll just fade away a little at the end, and I could see them missing out on the. Well, not actually missing out, but maybe stumbling in the playoffs next season. And that's my 4th choice, Fulham. In 3rd position, I think Reading are going to finish. Well, I think they finished 3rd last season, and I think they're going to reach that position again. Just going to miss out on automatic promotion. Jaap Stam's done a great job. They brought in a couple more players in the likes of Jandas Boeverhausen from Wolves. They got the likes of Jan Koeman, who seems to be been around forever. I think they'll be there or thereabouts again. Reading, solid.
Okay, my number 3 is Carlos Carvajal, Sheffield Wednesday. They have finally established themselves as a championship side where they should really be in the Premier League in a few years' time, which I think might happen. I just don't think they're quite ready for automatic playoffs yet, automatic promotion yet. They have worked their way up the championship table after being a League One side for a few years while Sheffield United were in the championship. They've got some fantastic players such as Fernando Forestieri. They've signed Jordan Rhodes, absolutely phenomenal player, and yeah, in a few years, Carlos Carvajal's dream will come true.
Okay, I've actually, in 2nd position, I've actually gone for Sheffield Wednesday. I think they'll actually get promoted this season. As you say, they've got the likes of Forestieri, Jordan Rhodes, but they've also got Stephen Fletcher there as backup, perhaps. Barry Bannon's a good player, and they've brought in George Boyd from Burnley, who knows the Championship as well. I think he also played for Peterborough at one stage. They're going to do really well. They've got the likes of Glenn Louvens at the back, marshalling their defence too. I think they'll go up. They've been there or thereabouts the last few seasons. Like their neighbours Sheffield United, they've got a big, great fan base, and really Sheffield should have at least one team, I believe, in the Premier League. And I think Sheffield Wednesday will go up this season. And your number 2?
Like that. My number 2 is actually Fulham. Like I said, great. They have great players, great squads, great manager. I reckon
Tom Kearney is a really good player.
I reckon this year is their year to go back up to the Premier League. After I remember beating Juventus, I think in 2010 in the Europa League, which was an absolute great result. I reckon the Premier League is absolutely crying to have Fulham back. After they are London's oldest club. They deserve to be back in the Premier League. They just have great players. They have great fan base.
Nice little ground as well. Old school
with a little cottage in the corner.
Lovely place. And moving on, who do you think will be champions? There's only one team left.
My champions are actually Middlesbrough. go grab yourself a chicken parmo. But yeah, they are absolutely great players. Britta Sombalonga, great signing by Gary Monk. Obviously, they've got a really experienced manager, especially when he resigned from Leeds. It was unfortunate what happened to them at the end of last season. I thought they would have stayed up at the start, but obviously they just fell apart under Cranker. But I reckon it's time for them to go back up.
Yeah, and I agree. Middlesbrough are my champions too. They've made some astonishing signings really in the close season. They brought in the likes of a Sombalonga. Okay, he's signed for around about £14.5 million. He is. He kind of is injury prone, but they've got more than enough backup there. And in a good team, a Sombalonga could flourish. Great athlete, great player, and will score goals. They brought in Ashley Fletcher as well for £9.6 million, and Jonathan Howson as well for £4.8 million. And they've got also the likes of Gaston Ramirez. They've got Fabio in defence, who's a good player. Patrick Bamford, Carl Ledbetter. They've got a real good team there, and I think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to run away with the title, because I've still got my doubts. I've still got my doubts with their manager. Gary Monk, he did well at Swansea initially, and then it kind of fell away and it all went, bottoms up sort of thing. Then he went on to Leeds and is doing well, and so I'm not sure what happened exactly at Leeds, whether the pressure got to him, and I'm not sure what happened with the owners, etc. But he left there. But now he's gone on to Middlesbrough. What I feel with Middlesbrough, maybe they're going to start off in a stormer, and then maybe things may catch up with them, whether Monk stays there or they bring in somebody else. I don't know, but I think eventually, come the end of the season, they'll become champions.
Yeah. I've got to be honest, I reckon this is going to be one of the closest championship seasons.
It's going to be always really very tough.
Yeah, much closer than last year with Newcastle and Brighton just running away with it.
Okay, so should we quickly run through our 24th to number 1? Do you want to start just quickly?
Yes, I will. Okay. Reading up from my list from 24th to 1st. Bolton, Bristol City, QPR, Burton, Millwall, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United, Birmingham City, Ipswich Town, PNE, Barnsley, Reading, Sunderland, Wolves, Hull, Brentford, Norwich, Derby, Cardiff City, Villa, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Fulham, Borough.
Okay, and to recap on my predictions for the season, from 24 up to 1st, we're going to go Bolton, 23rd Burton, Millwall, QPR, Bristol City, Nottingham Forest, Ipswich, Barnsley, 16th Preston, 15th Hull, Sheffield United, Birmingham, Sunderland, Wolves, Brentford in 10th, Leeds, Derby, 7th Aston Villa just missing out on the playoffs, Cardiff 6th, Norwich 5th, Fulham 4th, 3rd Reading, 2nd Sheffield Wednesday, and champions Middlesbrough. So that's been good fun, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, really enjoyed that?
Yeah.
So maybe in the next video we'll do the Premier League.
Yeah, that video will be on my channel, so remember to go subscribe to my channel, that's TheShmoo888. Remember to turn on bell notifications so you get to see that video first, which will be around the middle of next week. But for now, we'll bid you farewell, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.